the last time we spoke, we started to touch on something about, how my approach is a little different. It's
Mhm.
what's, outside the box, and people always say, you're outside the box, you're outside the box. And so since we spoke last, I went online. I didn't do, a deep, deep, deep dive, but I went online and I did a little thing about conventional training.
Mhm.
And there's a big thing about conventional training in communications, especially. It's a lot of how to do the 10 top, the 5 top to do when you are, to communicate more effectively. And when I was looking at it, I saw something that came up, and this was the 5 top ways to speak with impact. And it said number one, use powerful pauses. Two, master your tone and delivery. It doesn't say how, but that's what you should do.
Just do it, right? Just do
Right,
it.
do it. Three, tell stories, not just facts. Four, be clear and concise. Five, engage with eye contact and body language. And th that never worked with me. I'm not trying to be too critical about it, but it never worked with me because those are not organic things for me.
Hmm.
Use powerful pauses, right? Like, is this the powerful pause? You see where I'm going? Um,
I do.
I'm going to vault over the whole master your tone and delivery because that's just too loaded. It doesn't say anything on how. But tell stories. Now, if you could tell a story, but it doesn't automatically mean the story's going to work.
That's true.
It's so where I'm going with a lot of my work is that, well, I don't think about the things to do in this way. I think in terms of, well, what's stopping you from doing it?
Hmm.
Are there blockages in doing this? Are there blockages? Why wouldn't you organically and authentically take a pause? Are you too nervous? Are you being intimidated? Like, what's happening organically and authentically that would stop you from being clear and concise? What would stop you from making eye contact? And so I strongly believe if you're ready to communicate, you're ready to present, you can. And if you're not ready, you're going to push it. You can't. You're going to um, do a lot of these things that I just said in a labored way because you were
Hmm.
told to do that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying. And I think one of the challenges, right, in communication, and again, you and I have talked about this because we have some similar things that we deal with in terms of training and working with people, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
essentially it all comes out down to communication. And I think to, your points that you were making where, you know, do this, do that, do the other thing. They're instructional, but they're not holistic, they're not natural, they're not to a lot of people, it's more things to memorize, right? But I
Yeah,
know that you've got different methodology, and I know you and I kind of think, I don't even know what a box is, and I don't think you do either. So I
you're
think
right.
I think for me, what's more interesting is how do you how do you differentiate your training from this conventional, follow these 5 steps and instantly you're able to present or you're able to communicate with somebody effectively and efficiently? What do you do that's different?
Well, I first take the attitude that you should be able to do all of it authentically. I always look at it this way. I always accept truth and an empowered truth as a given. And
Mm,
when it doesn't hit me, I go, "Oh, something didn't hit me. Why didn't it you see what I mean? Like
yeah,
that was a little mud in the eye kind of thing. Like, what was
yeah.
that? And then that's from a facilitator standpoint. I'm going, "Oh, I got hit with something that wasn't empowered, that wasn't authentic.
Hmm.
Geez, I see she um, is redirecting behavior. I see that their ego is in the way. I see that they're very secure with their knowledge, but insecure with expressing their knowledge. You could see these things because you and I, when you come from the background that you and I come from, we're experts of the human expression.
Mhm.
That's what we do, and that's what we've been doing for how many decades have we been doing that?
More than I care to count.
Yeah, that's what we do. So
Yeah.
and you're an incredible singer. And how many times have you heard someone sing and you go like that? You know exactly what their blockage is, what their psychology is that's getting in the way, and
Yeah.
it's like an osmosis by now with you, right?
Yeah.
And
It's true.
yeah, and so it's a similarity, except with me, I've cultivated that into a system, into a system of communication. So I always expect that people are going to communicate wonderfully, simply. And then when I see the posturing coming in or someone holding an overly meek disposition or cadence, I'm like,
Mm.
oh, okay, okay, all right. And then I start to deal with liberating the blockages.
I
That's
like
where,
that. I like
yeah,
that phraseology. I think that's really good. Because
yeah,
probably you, like like me, will go and see a speaker, right? Or be directed to go see a certain presentation or see something like this. And I will be honest that more than once there's been times when I've had to excuse myself from the room because it felt so I was so uncomfortable. And the thing that was weird about it was that most of the people in the room were buying into what was being said, right? They were buying into it. And I keep thinking the opposite. More people would buy into it, and maybe even more people would retain what you're saying longer if you were actually positioning yourself in a way that was true to who you were, not